Disney's Moana is an animated film directed by Ron Clements and John Musker that expertly utilizes the 12 principles of animation to further convey character personalities and their interactions. Moana is a movie about a teenager who set out on a dangerous mission to save her people from destruction. To do this, she hunts down the infamous demigod Maui, who has stolen the heart from the goddess Te Fiti, causing the world to decay. Together they will sail across the seas and restore the heart to save her people, and along the way discover who she really is. The scene that has been chosen is a meeting between Moana and Maui, with Moana trying to convince Maui to help her on her mission, while Maui talks over her and does not treat her seriously. Moana is a determined teenage girl who is drawn to the ocean but is prevented from discovering it by her father's traditions, and as the daughter of the chief, she feels bogged down by these expectations. Despite this, she holds a great love for her home and people, and goes on this mission to save them, despite not being entirely confident in her role as a savior. This is especially clear in the chosen scene, as Moana tries hard to present a bold, confident persona on Maui to force him to help her. Comparatively, Maui is a shape-shifting demigod who puts on a front of a relaxed, uncaring person, and is scared of what happened to him after he stole the heart, and thus does not want to restore it in case he is hurt again. He presents himself as obnoxiously confident, which puts him at odds with Moana, as he treats himself as superior to her within the scene. Squash and stretch is present within the scene to help further convey the personalities and actions of the characters. This is most clear when Maui is first startled by Moana appearing before him, as his mouth stretches beyond the limits of reality and his brow rises above his hairline. This helps convey his surprise in a humorous way and adds to the character performance. The scene and film overall maintain the squash and stretch in more subtle ways across the film, trying to keep the movements closer to reality except in cases of extreme emotions. Similarly, the action is a clear example of the animation principle of exaggeration, as the expression pushes the movement further to an exaggerated state, adding more appeal to the expression for the viewer so that they can further understand the role and emotion of the character while making sure it does not ruin the believability of the scene. The principle of anticipation is also utilized in the scene, Moana bending her knees slightly before she commits to a swing of the paddle. This allows the audience to foresee the action and gives the movement more weight, thus giving the character action a sense of realism. This is also visible in the moments after her swing, as she lifts the paddle higher in the sky before slamming it into the ground, portraying her anger through the perceived force of her actions. Additionally, straight-ahead action and pose-to-pose as an animation principle is portrayed within the scene. Pose-to-pose helps give a more dramatic effect in the motion, with a lot more control over what happens in between each pose, and is most likely the technique most used in Moana. This is most likely utilized in the action of Moana's paddle hit, as there are clear key poses present in their movement. Follow-through and overlapping action is also present in the scene, more specifically with the hair of the characters bouncing and moving in response to the characters' movements rather than moving along with the same timing. This helps add to the realism of the character movements, as it conveys the illusion of weight to these actions. Similarly, the animation principle of secondary action also utilizes the hair, with the principle focusing on supporting and emphasizing the main action of the characters, giving hair movements a sense of life. The movements of the characters also showcase the principle of slow in and slow out, which is achieved with having the beginning and end action take up more frames than the middle action. This is clearly shown with Maui's hand increasing in speed as it hits his head, and then slowing down as it relaxes back out again, portraying the force of the hand hitting the head, and the relaxed confidence of Maui's body as he settles back into the previous position. This connects to timing, which is especially important in any animated scene, with the characters moving at a pace that feels natural and consistent, otherwise the audience would be taken out of the action. Arcs are present throughout the majority of movements in the scene as well, most present when the character Moana swings her paddle, as her swing is done in a circular arc following the natural path most movements are done. Arcs also help draw the viewer's eye, and thus this example works successfully to lead the eye to Maui as he is hit with the paddle. The staging of this shot also helps lead the viewer's eye, with both Maui and Moana near the center of the shot, where the focus of the paddle does not leave the frame, nor does any other object or action distract from it, thus making it an effectively staged shot. Solid drawing is especially important if you want to utilize the previous principles, as you need to have a solid understanding of weight and form to help you create the illusion of mass and force in your animated scene. The stylized anatomy, combined with the realistic force of movements, showcases that the modelers and animators for the scene understood this principle well. This also adds to the appeal, which is a principle in which the characters, animation, and world all appeal to the viewer due to the realistic lighting and movement. I believe the scene successfully conveys this. Therefore, the scene in Moana has effectively utilized all 12 principles of animation to help convey a stylized, realistic performance that manages to reveal the personalities and motivations of the characters through successful character actions while immersing the viewer in the scene.